there's a lot going on. And when I say there's a lot going on, let me be clear. There is a lot of shit happening. Okay. And most people would say that the shit that's happening is a lot of negative things, negative energy. I feel like most would classify it as such. Okay. The energy is thick during this time. The heat, the radiation on the planet is rising. The heat is super high. And the energy is thick. And there's a lot going on. Okay? And it's on multiple levels. Okay? So we look at, the Matrix, the 3D. We got mass shootings. We got, UV indexes at all-time high. The radiation, like I said, is super high on the planet right now. It's 100-degree weather, at least where I am in the region of the South that I live in, I reside in. There is inflation. Gas is higher than I've ever seen in my lifetime. We have gas in some parts of this country that's, hit $8, $9. I've seen it for myself in the area that I live in at $5. I think topping off around $6 a gallon. Okay. We're, still, in this so-called pandemic. And there's new versions of this. People are getting sickness, even loved ones that are super, super close to me in the hospital as we speak. So when I say it's a lot of shit going on, it's a lot of shit going on. And that's just on the matrix side of it. That's just in the physical. That's what we can see. Those are the things that we can see. Now, let's talk about the unseen. The energy. The energy is dense. Energies are high. You could tell there's a lot of convoluted energy. It's a lot of mixed energy. It's a lot of chaotic energy. Okay. You can tell that there is a shift happening on this planet. And of course, the first effect of it is energetic. So the energy is at an all-time high. And those of us who are aware, who live by the unseen just as much, if not more, than the seen. And I pride myself in being one of those people. I live by the unseen before I can even basically live by the seen. I live by the unseen. It is, I move and live by the energy more than what meets the eye, like what I see. And so those of us who are like that, if that makes sense to you, knows that the shift has been affecting this shift, this presence, this energy, this energetic presence that we are experiencing right now. It's coming with a lot. It's coming with a lot. It's coming with a lot. It's making you. It's really the energy. If you're aware of it and you feel it, and you have that gift of perception, and you can see what is happening as a result of the energy. It's kind of creating a mirrored effect naturally. So you're having to deal with things that most of us probably already thought we had dealt with over and over and over again, and thought that those things were laid to rest. A lot of those things are surfacing, coming back up to the surface, and you're having to go back in, and do more work. And the energy is having a tremendous effect on people in different ways, but I think it's really, for me, it has really made an impact on my emotional body. I've been very emotional. I've been, very internal. And so, with these energies being as heavy as they are, I feel like it's a call to arm, because a shift is taking place. The shift is taking place whether we're ready for it or not. And so it's almost like a quickening that is happening for those who have been placed here to fulfill a specific mission, and have specific purpose during this time, and during this shift. And so there's a quickening that's happening so that we could integrate and or rid ourselves of certain things, kind of once and for all. I was telling my mate that it's like I have become my own it's kind of like I am my own filter, and I've always been that. But yeah, I've always been my own filter. Never had a problem with accountability. I prefer taking myself through my own processor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm usually the one that can admit my wrongs before they're even pointed out to me. And I'm bringing them to, I'm big on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on, accountability, and holding myself accountable, before anyone else, has to. So, has to hold, I don't look for people to hold me accountable. I hold myself accountable. And nor do I have a problem with anyone pointing anything out. I'm not, a super defensive person. typically, like to look at things from a pretty balanced point of view. And prefer, if a person, tells me or shows me, something that they see about myself, and then I take it through my own process or my own filtration system, and then I based on that outcome, if it resonates, if it's true, you know what I'm saying, I look at it from a holistic point of view, and then I do what I need to do to clean it up or fix it. And I just think that there's power in that. And that's how you begin, you can really, grow. A lot of us talk about growth, but actually taking the, internal steps, the steps, physical steps, the, internal steps, the mental steps, and having the discipline to do so, and hold your own self accountable, is not the easiest thing. So when you do that, it's work involved. It's work involved. Checking yourself. To check yourself. That's work. You know what I'm saying? And I've never ran from that. Never ran from that. I've always preferred it. Because to me, that was kind of like my own measurement system. My own identifier, so that I can look at things. But then there's a different side. I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but just right quick, it's a different side to that too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can overly do that to where it's almost like you are always holding yourself accountable for everybody else's shit too. And you always looking at yourself, and that's a good thing, but sometimes you can overdo that to the point to where you're always kind of ending up on the, on the slab, is what I like to call it a slab, where, you are holding the burdens of everybody else's bullshit, because you always looking at yourself and nobody else look at they self. So when you always looking at yourself, then a lot of times you kind of end up kind of being the brunt or being the heavy of everything, because you always holding yourself accountable to your stuff, and then you find out you come to find out you holding yourself accountable for everybody else shit too. And everybody got to carry their own weight. Point blank period. Everybody got to be accountable for their own shit. And if everybody take themselves through their own filtration system and their own processing, their system of processing the information and the shit that they need to process, and being honest and true with themselves, then definitely it'll be a better world. But most people hide from those things. They run from themselves in that sense. And they, their ego is too, they're too much in ego to even take accountability for their own bullshit. So, people like that typically like to pass that shit on to people like us, who's always feeling the heavy, being the heavy, and feeling the brunt of shit, and always taking ourselves through our own, processors and filtration and filtering the things out to do our work, but end up somehow also got dang on taking on other people's bullshit and trying to somehow see how maybe we were we were at fault, in some kind of way of other people's bullshit. And so that's when, it hits an imbalance. And I had to learn that too. But I'm talking about the filtering, because one of the things that I've seen during this time right here, that we've been going through in this shift, is that my self is pointing out my blind spots a lot, a lot, period. If I do something, hey, watch that. Too much of that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, watch that. You could do more of that. And I'm like, God damn, like, shit. Can I live? I say, like, every little thing, like, it's being pointed out. It's just that mirror effect. I'm seeing it in real time, immediately as it's happening. I'm hearing myself say, hey, look at that. I want you to see that. Ain't nobody got time. So you need to see that. And so in doing that, it's kind of been this quickening, because, I'm seeing certain things and it's being presented to me, and then I have to deal with it in real time. And there's no time for guilt. Like, I started feeling a little guilt, like, oh shit, I did do that, god damn. And I start, feeling a little guilt, but it is not even no time for that bullshit. It's just like, see it, correct it, move on. You know what I'm saying? See it, correct it, move on. Be present so that you can see it, so that you can see the thing before you do the thing. You know what I'm saying? Be present, and it's definitely, cleanup time. And I feel like I've been cleaning up for years, ever since I really, like, started on this journey of awareness, this journey of ascension. I've, like, I've been doing a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of cleaning up. It's been a lot of cleaning up. Once you get through something, you think you got through it, it's some other shit. Oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Because we, have, years and years of trauma. And not just, our own trauma, but, trauma of our lineage. Certain imprints that we have, from, our parents' parents. So, definitely, we on, aisle 1, 2, and 3, definitely on that cleanup aisle, cleaning up shit, within ourselves, getting our vessels tight and right, getting our heart tight and right, getting, being, working on, alignment, what I'm saying, balancing out our chakra zones and just, just cleaning up and purifying and filtering and processing, all of these things, is work. And we are in that modality right now, especially through this time. And, with all of that, it has been, we've had some super heavy days, and so there's some things that, I have kind of come up with, that has helped me or is helping me during this time. And I'm going to just share a few of them. One of the things that's helped me through this time is patience. Patience. Not feeling the need to rush, or have to, or be rushed to move or to do anything. You know, being able to be still, and in that stillness practicing patience. Because when it's time to make a left, when it's time to make a right, when it's time, to go and or stop, the soul will tell you. And we've been programmed to believe that if you're not moving, you're not evolving. If you're not moving, if it's not, we've been programmed. I just had a long conversation with my son, the 18-year-old son, yesterday, and I was just telling him, why I don't buy into, the concept of grinding and hustling. I don't buy into that. You know what I'm saying? That's a concept that a lot of people buy into. You know what I'm saying? You got to grind, you got to hustle. I don't even like those words. And I was talking to my son about it, because he's, 18. He's in this, I don't even know what their generation is. I think it's Generation Z. Yeah, that's it. Because I was laughing. I was like, y'all in Generation Z for zombie. But I was just telling him there is no need to grind and to hustle. I said, to me, grinding has a negative connotation. The reason why it has a negative connotation because to me it gives it has the energy of resistance. I was like, there is no need to grind when you are in alignment. Now, there's a difference between working hard, and grinding. You know what I'm saying? Grinding, to me, creates this perception that you are moving against something. There is a resistance, and you are having to grind through something that is resistant to you. And so, I choose to not hold it in that space. I'm one of the hardest workers I know. Definitely not no lazy motherfucker. I don't believe, and, I feel like, you go hard or go home. But at the same time, it's not a grind to me. You know what I'm saying? Because when you are grinding, to me, it takes the experience out of it. Because you are, to me, being ran by the creation and not as the creator moving, working with the creation. You're being ran, manipulated, and motivated only by the creation. And so, what comes first? The creator or the creation? And so I was talking to him and I was saying, when you are in alignment, you don't have to grind. You work with. You work in correspondence to and with. There is nothing coming against you. You are not in resistance. There is no resistance. You know what I'm saying? You may have obstacles. You may experience challenges. But when you're working with the energy, when you're working with the creation, you are experiencing those highs and lows, but it is still at, a flow. You're in a flow state. So then, therefore, you're working with the energy. You're working with the creation. And even though you may see highs and lows because you're working with it, you are utilizing those highs and those lows to your benefit. You know, highs are beautiful, but lows are the gifts. And so those lows, you're not looking at it as resistance. You're looking at it as I'm flowing with it because I'm actually learning what I am supposed to be learning. I'm getting the lesson. And that part is invaluable. That part is the true gift. Now I'm seasoned and I can do this over and over and over again now with my eyes closed and even teach others how to get to where they trying to get to. I show them through my action because I'm not in the grind. I'm in flow. I'm not hustling. I'm doing. And at the same time, I'm receiving. I'm receiving what's valuable. So, we got to be careful with, the wordplay and getting caught up in, the world's antics. Because, you get caught up in you saying shit that the world say, and that shit be loud and wrong as hell. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to know how to be still. You got to know how to practice patience and be in the rhythm and the flow of life, which may mean sometimes you may be stuck. Okay, for instance, my truck broke down. It's been when I say it's been a lot of shit happening, okay? I'm not void of the shit. It didn't miss me. It's been a lot of shit happening for a lot of people. And I'm one of them, and my truck broke down. And, it was like, okay, so it set me down. Now, I'm a nigga that likes to move. I'm a nigga that, I like to move. I'm independent. I like, but when my truck broke down, I said, okay. I didn't resist what was taking place. Matter of fact, the day it broke down, I just smiled. You know what I'm saying? I smiled. I was just happy that it broke down in my complex. And that I wasn't, somewhere on the expressway. You know what I'm saying? I gave thanks and gratitude for that. You know what I'm saying? I was able to pull it right in the parking space and set it right there. And it's been sitting there ever since. And in this time, though, that I had to kind of be still. I mean, I still been moving, doing meetings, this, that, and the third. There's been a lot going on. I've, been back and forth to the hospital. There's been a lot going on. I've still been moving, but not the way that I'm accustomed to. And in those moments where I've had to be still, I've gained so much. I've gained so much. So much clarity. I've been doing so much work. I've been spending so much time with my soul. I've been relationshiping with my soul. And it has been invaluable. So a situation that would be looked at as, a negative one has been an invaluable situation because I utilized that time and space to relationship with myself, to gain some insight, some clarity that I otherwise would have had that opportunity because I would have probably been in the streets somewhere. So you got to know You know what I'm saying? When it's time to be still. And sometimes, even if you don't know when it's time to be still, your universe will sit you down so that you can be still. It just wants to have a conversation, a much needed conversation. And that conversation is ultimately going to be necessary for whatever the next phase, the phase that you may be entering in. So you need to know when it's time to be still. And in that time of being still, you must practice patience. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. And know that you are moving in flow with your higher self. So patience. So I was jotting down a few things as I was doing. I was spending some, I was in my inner space, right? And so I was led to jot down a few things, and what I noticed is, every now and then I like to write down what I want, what my desires are. And I like to write these things down because when you as the generator, operator, destroyer, when you write things down, it makes it Bible, right? And so I like to write things down. And I hadn't written things down in terms of what I desire in a while. And as I was writing down the things that I desire, what I was able to notice is the measurement of what the things I desire now are versus the things that I used to desire. Okay, so then the things that I used to jot down were material. I want to manifest this, and I want this, and I want to manifest this. And as I went deeper in my spiritual work, and as I've evolved, and I've, entered these transformative spaces and dimensions within this vast universe of me, I noticed that my desires have switched up. They've switched up, man. Now, yeah, do I still desire certain material things? Hell yeah. I mean, we're having a human experience. We're in this, 3D world, in this physical world to experience these things. So, yes, I'm not trying to be, no monk, I'm here to experience. So yes, I not only desire, but I require, abundance in various ways. But what I realized, though, is that the things that, I used to really desire, and it would be more my focal, like my focus, my focal points, they've switched up. And so I like to just share a few of the things that I now desire. These are my heart's desires. Wisdom. I desire wisdom. I desire inner power and strength. I desire mental clarity. I want to see shit from a bird's eye view. I desire precise intuition. I want my intuition, I want this precise. I want it to be with a certain level of precision. I desire physical carry through and know-how. I want to be able to physically carry through the things that I have on my inner vision board. I desire quality perception. So what I did is I drew a circle and I wrote my name all the way around it. You know, just Tangy, all the way around the circle. And then inside that circle, I wrote these things in bubbles and I connected them. Bird's eye view, precise intuition, physical carry through, know-how, inner power and strength, wisdom, mental clarity, the discipline to do these things, the inner power and quality perception. And those are the things that my heart desires. I want to be adept in these things. Because if all of these things I am at a high level, high point, and these are the things that my heart desires, and this is everything that I'm gunning for, then the external, the physical abundance becomes simple. It becomes simple because I have the wisdom and the know-how and the mental clarity, and I can see from a bird's eye view. You know, I have a very precise intuition, and I can perceive things in a very, very precise way. And then I have, strength, inner strength, and I have, you know what I'm saying? I have inner power. So if all of those things are working together within me, and I'm I'm at the top of my game with all of these aspects, within all of these aspects, in and of myself, then shit, I'm definitely, the M's is easy because I have the wisdom to see. I got the wisdom to see the deal. I got the inner power and the strength. I got the mental clarity. You know what I'm saying? I can see things from a bird's eye view, which means I can see from a space that most people can't. My intuition is on point. My know-how is on point. So I know how to maneuver. I know how to move. I know how to get to the things that I need to access, for the access to be granted. I have keen perception, so I'm able to say, nope, not this way. Let me go that way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to dodge, the foxholes, and I'm able, to get through. So during these times where things are, heavier than usual, you know, we're dealing with pandemics, we're dealing with inflation, we're dealing with, people are dealing with, sickness. And during all of these times, these are the things I feel that, we should be, keen on or working towards, because if all of this is intact and all of these things I have and I'm holding, all these keys, then, I ain't really dealing with inflation. I ain't really dealing with, no pandemic. I ain't really a victim of any of these things that this 3D world tries, to present, these traumas that the 3D world tries to present. I'm not falling in those bags. Because, my soul keeps me aligned, and I'm beating to a different drum. And my dimension is presenting me different things on a whole nother level, because I'm dealing with the unseen. I'm dealing with my inner space, not the outer space.